I'm going to show you a really cool project today. We're going to make these gorgeous sequin earrings. This project is so easy and so simple. You can actually do this project with your kids. And it's a fun, simple project made out of recycled items. These are not your high fashion, high-end earrings, but they will work for one night. They're practically disposable. So let's get started. So you can see you can make them in any shape that you like. And see, we've got a cute little oval shape here. And of course my favorite is the diamond shape. And of course this little funky fun shape that I was playing around with here too. So I'm going to show you how to do this as a weekend project with your kids. It'll probably take you no time. Here are some of the supplies you're going to need for your earrings. Of course, you're going to need a bunch of scrap sequin fabric, just leftover pieces that you've had in a project. You're going to need these. Doesn't take much, just a little piece. You're also going to need some leftover pleather. I call it pleather because it's not leather and it's not plastic. It's kind of in between, but it's kind of firm and it doesn't unravel. You could also use a nice firm cardstock. The earrings I will be demonstrating today, as you flip them over, were made with the pleather. But this earring shape right here of the pink sequin, it was made with paperback. You're going to need a chalk pen, pair of cutting scissors. I use my X-Acto blade. Going to need your jewelry tools. And the main ingredient is fusible web. Now you can buy this in sheets or you can buy it in strips. It's also known as stitch witchery. So let's get started with our project. To start your project, you want to first get your base. So if you're going to use the pleather, you'll get your pleather, or if you're going to use the cardstock, get your cardstock paper out. And we're going to do both so you can see me do both of them. And like I said, you see it's just a small piece. This is all you need. And you're going to take I'm taking my fusible web. If you have a sheet, you just cut the sheet out the width of your scrap. But in my case, I'm just using pieces, so I'm going to show you how to easily do that. I'm just taking my strips and I'm laying them on top just like that. And I'm putting my finger down and I'm just tearing it. It's so simple, it tears just like that. You're going to line them up on top, well not on top, but side by side. And I have been doing 4 strips. Gives me a pretty good width for my earrings. Now since I'm making 2 earrings, you definitely want 2 earrings, I'm going to go ahead and start the other side, leaving a space in the middle so that I can cut. Okay, now that's the piece that we're using for the pleather. This was my favorite, leftover from a prom dress. What I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it on top. Make sure you don't have any spaces like this where the sequins are missing, so I'm just going to slide it up. I'm just going to lay it on top, and you want it to overlap the top and the sides and the bottom. And I'm simply just going to cut. And it don't have to be perfect because this is just a simple little project that you're doing. I'm doing the same thing on the other one. And I'm cutting. You want to make sure that you cover your sequins with the press cloth to protect your iron. So I just cover it with the press cloth. And read the directions on your stitch witchery or your binding. Mine says leave down for 10 seconds. And it says not to twist or rock. So I'm just going to add a little burst of steam. That's one side. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm holding it down for about 10 seconds. Then I'm going to press my steam and lift up the iron. And when I do that, what has happened, because my sequin fabric is on tulle, the glue goes through all of the tulle and it adheres everything in place. So you see that one's ready for cutting. So let's do the one on the cardstock. So I'm just going to cut out a piece of the cardstock paper because we don't need all of that. And you're going to follow the same procedure, laying down the stitch witchery. Now you can see we're done, and see it kind of curled the paper up, which is fine. If you don't want your paper to curl, you can just go on the other side and just press it down, and then the paper gets flat. I'm just going to cut in the middle right where I didn't have any glue on. And as you see it adheres. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Cut it down the middle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trace out our pattern. So I'm going to flip it over. And I'm just going to use the earring that I have here, or you can do any kind of shape that you want. Or you can freehand it if you choose to. Okay, so I'm going to remove that, and then that way I can get it kind of better than it was. And now that I've got my design shape drawn, so you're just going to cut it out. And I always cut inside of the chalk line so you don't have the chalk line on the outside. But like I said, these are not earrings that you would keep forever, because like I said, it's just a one-time fun for one occasion type earring. And they're so inexpensive to make that these could almost be disposable. And now what you'll do is, to do the other earring, you're just going to flip it over and lay it down and cut it out. I've got both of the earrings cut out, as you can see. There they are. I'll show you on the paper. I'm not going to cut it out, but if you were going to do the paper, it's the same thing. You just cut with the scissors, and what happens when we cut, I'm going to show you what happens when we cut where the glue is. So see, when you cut where the glue is, it seals. So that's done. So now what I'm going to do is, I like to just poke a hole into the top of my earring, and you can do it by whatever manner you want. I just use my X-Acto knife. You can use a pen, you can use a scissor, whatever you want to use. You just use an X-Acto knife and poke a hole in that. And if you refer back to my previous videos on where I made my earrings and my jewelry, you're just going to take the jump ring, you're just going to open it up, slide the jump ring here into your hole, and once you do that, you would insert the earring hook like that and close it up. And when you do that, you end up with these simple pair of sequined earrings. And I hope you guys try this project. This was so fun to make. And you know what? I'm going to have so much fun wearing these. These are so cool. Gotta try it. Happy crafting.